Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Premium Public Video Forecast discussion for Friday, November 15th, 2024. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino, CM number 9. If you're interested in more detailed information that you'll get in this video every day, definitely check out the Premium Consulting membership, only $15 a month. It actually helps out the channel quite a bit. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe. We start out first with Tropical Storm Sara. A lot of interesting points here. First of all, I just want to remind everyone, if you're curious about what weather source you should follow, and of course, I have my best suggestion would be me, but whoever you want to follow, the test, which a lot of people failed, is whether or not you get content about Category 3 to 5 hurricanes impacting Florida 10 days out. People that produce that content, you shouldn't follow. Because as I told you, and it's a general rule in meteorology, you do not trust synoptic scale models like the GFS, the European, whatever, until you get a warm core low that actually develops. So that way you can understand the structure, the position, and the potential impacts of a tropical low pressure system. This is basic meteorology because it's a warm core low, which has a lot of mesoscale factors involved, which is why you really want to wait. Now, what you can use for synoptic models is, hey, this environment is more favorable for some sort of development. That's fair game, absolutely. Trusting details, though, no, that's not what you do. And this is a perfect example as to why. We have Tropical Storm Sara off the Honduras coast here. Couple of interesting points. One thing that really stood out to me with the NHC update, they can't find the low-level center, which makes me wonder, is this even really an organized tropical low-pressure system? But for now, I'm going to follow along with the mid-level center, which is off the Honduras coast. And this is expected to slowly track along the Honduras coast and then move into the Yucatan Peninsula. It has winds at 50 miles per hour, I would assume around the convection. It's moving to the west at 9 miles per hour. And notice the forecast ends in the Yucatan Peninsula. Why? Because by the time it moves into the Yucatan Peninsula, this will be a strongly sheared tropical low pressure system with a disorganized center that will not survive moving through the Yucatan Peninsula. So all that threat for the Gulf of Mexico, why isn't that likely? Well, because it won't be an organized system by then. So here's the latest satellite picture. Again, I'm hard pressed to find a circulation here. Okay, maybe like a mid-level circulation somewhere in Central America. But what I see is a lot of convection. I see convection somewhat banded, but not really well organized. Certainly not a well-organized low-level circulation. So this might not even make it to the Yucatan Peninsula the way it's evolving right now. But one thing is for sure, even if you do get some sort of low-level circulation setting up here, it's not going to survive this mountainous terrain. And even when it moves off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula and into the Bay of Campeche and the southern Gulf of Mexico, it's running into all of this shear, which is only going to intensify with a deepening trough, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, and also a lot of dry air. So anything that organizes out here, anything that's left out here is basically going to get ripped apart. So those of you who have friends and family down in Florida, great news. No major hurricanes, not even a tropical storm, maybe some rainfall, and that's it. So, as I said, be prepared, which you are, because you follow me and you listen to the National Hurricane Center and you're a responsible individual. But don't be scared, because as it turned out, all that anxiety, all that fear that was posted was uncalled for. And it should have been in the first place because of simple meteorological rules that you follow. Perhaps this is a lesson that it's not always important to be first. It's more important to be right. And sometimes in order to be right, you have to be a little patient. You have to wait for things to evolve and then start using model guidance. So I just wanted to share that because, man, oh man, this is an important lesson that I think we really need to learn. In the world where everyone's trying to be first, being first now has a lot of egg on your face. Talking about evolution of data, let's talk about La Niña. Or really, maybe we should just say La Nada. The National Weather Service and the CPC has made a statement that there is only about 55% chance now of a weak La Niña, and there's a very good chance that we end up with just a cold neutral state with a negative PDO state, plenty of warm water out here in the Atlantic. This could support a returning or a frequent negative NAO state. But this factor here is huge. And, it's one of the wild cards in the winter forecast. Premium members, you have the detailed analysis. Definitely check that out. But a cold neutral state means that the subtropical jet stream is more active, that the polar jet stream puts up a good fight against the subtropical jet stream. There's a higher potential for storm tracks from the Tennessee River Valley to the mid-Atlantic coast, a higher potential for blocking in the northwestern Atlantic, and a higher potential that the southeast ridge that you typically see with a La Niña gets displaced quite often into the Bahamas. So this is looking more like a colder version of the winter forecast that I warned about. It's not a guarantee that your backyard will see a lot of snow this winter. It's a guarantee that the forecast of a La Niña is becoming less likely. Some very interesting stuff taking place here that we're watching. And it also means that the MJO state that we're going to be studying is going to become far more important as we move through the winter. So, just so you know, in December, January, and February, these phases, 7 somewhat, but more 8, 1, and 2 are your favorable phases for winter storm potential. 3, 4, and 5, not so much. 6 and 7 are kind of like your transient states. But if you're looking for, hey, is there going to be winter storm potential over the next 10 to 15 days? You want to keep an eye on whether the MJO is in these phases. When they are, game on. When they're not so much. So that's the general rule. I'm not giving a forecast of where the MJO is going to be, because that's very difficult to do in a seasonal state. But I'm kind of giving you the rules of the road in terms of the upcoming winter, in terms of tropical forcing. Meanwhile, in the stratosphere, one of the things that I warned about, and that looks like it's becoming more and more of a interesting factor, is that our polar vortex is being stretched quite a bit. And you're seeing a lot more above normal heights around, let's say, Siberia, the Urals. You're seeing right now stretch into Europe, which doesn't preclude the potential for colder weather over the eastern United States. It does support more above normal heights around Greenland. So there is potential here. It's better off when the stretch is right into North America for sustained cold. But this is a signal to me of transient polar air masses, potential for storms popping up, but not anything that is sustained. Pop up here and there. But certainly better than this a strong polar vortex over the North Pole, or a stretch into Asia, which is basically the death nail in any winter weather potential for North America when that happens. So again, the fact that we're seeing disruption of the polar vortex right now, and you can see it right now, there it is over Asia. We're pretty mild, right? You can see the evolution of this polar vortex, and we'll see how it plays out as we move through December, January, February. But certainly a lot of interesting signals showing up here. So, we're going to have to see how this all plays out. But as you can see here in the long range guidance on the European, one signal that keeps on showing up here, below normal heights over the northwestern Atlantic, above normal heights going into northeastern Canada. This supports below normal heights also around the Tennessee River Valley. And this is how you can get some interesting weather systems developing. Again, you can see this around Thanksgiving. We're going to have to keep an eye on Thanksgiving. It looks to be unsettled. I write a preliminary discussion this morning for the Thanksgiving travel, so you can prepare. More changes will come as we move forward over the next couple of weeks and more details. But you get the idea here. This isn't a huge southeast ridge signal with storm tracks into the Great Lakes and no blocking and just a mild winter. These are signals of, hey, it's going to be stormy. Now I guarantee that your backyard will see a lot of snow. I'm not saying that right now. What I'm saying is that this is looking a lot more favorable than it did a couple weeks ago. So a lot of interesting changes. And oh, by the way, if you want to use the GFS guidance, GFS ensembles, kind of showing the same signal. Again, you don't take anything verbatim here. You just say like, interesting signals showing up here. We'll see how everything plays out. Meanwhile, closer to home, right now it's absolutely beautiful out. High pressure is building in. Oh, wait, you mean there's a storm to the south? Well, it looks like it got suppressed. So we have scattered cloud cover around the region, more cloud cover down towards Cape May in southern New Jersey. No reports of rainfall even in Delaware, so it really got suppressed. Closest rainfall is all the way down here in Maryland. So no rainfall threat for us around here, which was expected. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s over the northern interior, upper 30s to low 40s in the near suburbs, mid to upper 40s around the I-95 corridor, and of course your urban areas. And you can see on the radar here, not a lot going on. Just a lot of this isn't reaching the ground. Where is our low pressure system? Down here. Your rainfall pretty much is focused primarily around the North Carolina coast. So why did this get suppressed? Because yesterday, if you saw the video, which I'm sure you did, there was a wall of rain marching through the eastern Great Lakes. It was all heading this way. So what happened? Well, let's take a look at the infrared satellite picture. There's our low pressure system. Look at that spin up there, up towards the Canadian Maritimes. Do you see that? Well, let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture. Oh, by the way, clear skies all the way back into the upper Midwest, setting up a beautiful weekend for us. But why did this happen? Why did we not get any rain with this low pressure system off the North Carolina coast? Well, this upper level low is essentially crushing it and forcing it south. So you're getting this area of subsidence taking hold and suppressing this low pressure system. Now, it produces another interesting signal for the winter of, hey, you get a dynamic upper level low in the Canadian Maritimes. Maybe you shift a little bit further to the east. You can end up with some pretty impressive storms dropping in from the Great Lakes towards the mid-Atlantic coast. That's storm track number 1, by the way, in the winter forecast. So just keep an eye on that. These clippers this year, I think, are going to be more of an issue. And certainly this one is pretty interesting to see how it evolved. But again, an interesting signal showing up in the late fall that we didn't see for much of this fall, which is why it's been so dry. And you can see here in the 250 millibar winds, that signal very nicely. Upper level ridge building up towards Greenland. Nice upper level low in the Canadian Maritimes. This leads to subsidence because you're getting a lot of convergence and confluence setting up here over New England, driving dry air southward. The dry air pushing southward crushes the precipitation shield with this upper level low, forcing most of your rainfall to the south here. This is where you have your best divergence and diffluence with that low pressure system. And so your low is out here getting kicked out and eventually gets absorbed in this upper level low. The upper level low, meanwhile, sends in a Canadian maritime air mass for the region for today on through this weekend, setting up seasonable temperatures for this time of year. Nothing too really impressively cold or anything of that nature, But, temperatures in the 50s and 60s, which is only maybe a degree or two above normal for the region. Now, while all this is setting up, notice off in the Pacific here, we'll spin here, ridge starting to build into the Gulf of Alaska. Remember where I said, when the ridge pops here, watch out for cold air dropping into the eastern two-thirds of the United States. This is a signal, this is an observation, not model guidance. This is a signal that, hey, pattern change is on the way. So let's take a look at the model guidance. We'll use 500 millibars here. And again, there's our trough dropping in. There's our ridge axis for the weekend, setting up beautiful weather conditions. We get a little weak shortwave dropping into the polar jet stream. Most of your forcing is up here. So it could be an isolated shower on Monday, but nothing really significant. Meanwhile, look at our pattern starting to change. So you're seeing in the subtropical jet stream and the polar jet stream interaction taking shape. Upper level low pulls northward. Our ridge continues to pop in the Gulf of Alaska. And that signal sets up this impressive upper level low that draws polar air southward. Now again, this sets up pretty strong lifting, which could signal a pretty strong frontal boundary for the end of next week. And yes, more widespread rainfall. I'm still a bit skeptical to see whether or not this plays out, but certainly an impressive upper level low signal showing up here. There is support in the observations to have this pattern change evolve. And you're seeing the overall theme here. Again, we still have a couple of steps to lock in a new winter weather pattern, but you're seeing changes evolving here. And so as that steps up and evolves, we're going to see these waves of stronger cold fronts, not to the point of getting sustained cold air. Again, as far as precipitation for this time period, towards the end of next week, yeah, there's support for a strong cold front here and some rainfall. I think that the intensity of the rainfall is going to back off once we get closer. But clearly, you have the potential here for, let's say you have a warm front and a cold front behind it, or maybe an included front setting up here around the northern mid-Atlantic, supporting rainfall Thursday into Friday. And as far as your cold air is involved here, again, for now, mostly the two air masses are Pacific and Canadian Maritime. Okay, those are your two sources. If you're in the Gulf Coast, obviously tropical, coming off the Gulf Coast. But those are your two primary air mass influences. And then here comes our upper level lows setting up. And as I suspected, this polar air mass is not as strong as what we're seeing in the earlier model guidance because of the state of the polar vortex being stretched towards Europe. The focus for Arctic air is going to be up towards northern Canada. But hey, it also builds up the snowpack up in there, which you need in order to get polar air masses to drop into the United States. But you can see the signals starting to change. You can see the evolution starting to change where you're getting warmer air pushing into Alaska. You're seeing the Arctic air masses, instead of setting up in Siberia, they're starting to set up towards northern Canada now. So you're getting your source region built up, and you're getting the influence of the negative NAO pattern here with some polar air masses that are transient but able to build in. So there's a lot of changing signals playing out here that we're going to have to watch. As far as the forecast over the next couple of days, again today, scattered cloud cover, cloudier more down towards Cape May, high temperatures in the lower to mid 50s over the northern interior, mid to upper 50s along the coast. For tonight into tomorrow morning, look for clearing skies with low temperatures in the lower to mid 30s over the northern interior, upper 30s to lower 40s in your suburbs, lower to mid 40s in your urban areas. Tomorrow afternoon, scattered cloud cover, highs in the lower to mid 50s over the northern interior, upper 50s to lower 60s along the coast. On Sunday, high pressure continues to remain in control, tranquil conditions, lows in the lower to mid 30s over the northern interior, upper 30s to lower 40s in your suburbs, lower to mid 40s in your urban areas, high temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 50s over the northern interior, lower to mid 60s along the coast. On Monday, that cold front drops through with scattered cloud cover, possibly a few isolated showers. Look for low temperatures in the lower to mid 40s, high temperatures in the upper 50s over the northern interior, lower to mid 60s along the coast. On Tuesday, high pressure will be in control with scattered cloud cover. Look for lows in the lower to mid 30s over the northern interior, upper 30s to lower 40s in your suburbs, lower to mid 40s in your urban areas. High temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s over the northern interior, mid to upper 50s along the coast. On Wednesday, high pressure gives way. Look for increasing cloud cover as an area low pressure develops in the Ohio River Valley. Possibly a few isolated showers as we move towards the evening hours. Look for low temperatures in the lower to mid 40s. High temperatures in the mid to upper 50s over the interior and the New York City metro. Lower to mid 60s in the Philadelphia metro. On Thursday, the occluded front moves through with a strong area of low pressure. Again, this might be a bit overdone in terms of the precipitation intensity, but we'll keep an eye on it. But the idea generally is that you get this occluded front marching through colder air, as you can see with the snowfall potential, wrapping in behind it. Our low pressure system lifts up towards the Great Lakes with temperatures on Thursday ranging from the lower to mid 40s over the northern interior, upper 40s to lower 50s along the coast. High temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s over the northern interior, mid to upper 50s in the New York City metro and the Philadelphia metro, upper 50s to lower 60s on the immediate coast. That all is dependent on the position of basically this triple point where there could be a warm front right here, your occluded front here, cold front down here. So you're going to get a wide range of temperatures as a result in this frontal structure. On Friday, upper level low swings through with a series of troughs and weak cold fronts, keeping scattered showers in the forecast on Friday. Look for temperatures to range from the mid to upper 30s over the northern interior. Don't be surprised if we get a little bit of snow mixed in on this in the higher elevations, by the way. Lower to mid 40s over the interior, and high temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s over the northern interior, and upper 40s to lower 50s along the coast. That is your forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful weekend, and as always, stay safe out there.